Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brian Holiday, and we are here on another edition of The Dumbest Timeline. And I probably shouldn't have been clicking a pen, but I'm nervous about this one. Why, folks? Because this one might be one of the most important factors of The Dumbest Timeline. And we brought an awesome guest this week. We have Elspeth Wright, comedian, wonderful host for comedy shows. I just saw one of your shows recently. You did an amazing job, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Elspeth, do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and then introduce the thing that you feel proves we live in the dumbest timeline?
Yeah. So my name's Elspeth, obviously. I host a show called Stand Up St. Henry at Montreal Improv every Tuesday. And I also host a game show called Battle of Wits. We've got one coming up in September at the Diving Bell. It's really fun and very silly. Brian, you've been a guest on it
Yeah.
before.
I had a
It's a
great time.
great time.
Yeah.
You can also watch that on YouTube, old episodes from lockdown times. And
I'll
yeah,
put the I'll put the link
my
in the description.
my thing for the dumbest, I had a lot of I overthought this, which is like I could say that I overthink waking up every morning, but so I had a bunch of ideas and I couldn't really find one that was kind of light, but also just infuriating. And then I went on Facebook, and every time I'm on like any social media, I get a lot of articles for The Mirror, a UK tabloid, and like other websites like The Mirror. So it's not just The Mirror. I just
Yeah.
get a bunch every time. I'm on Twitter and Facebook in particular, like to show me these like, you won't believe why this family
Right.
dog is pregnant. Like it's like because it had sex with another dog, I'm guessing. Like, you know, but I get all of these stupid things all the time, and just I feel like the people who write clickbait have stopped trying a little bit,
Right.
which also annoys me because like clickbait already a sign of the darkest timeline, but like modern day current clickbait is even lazier and
Yeah.
just like, there's no pizzazz to it anymore. It's
Yeah. I
just
I feel like when we were, at least when I was a kid, that they tried something a little bit different,
mhm.
and it felt kind of like, oh, we're gonna try to really capture a moment and like capture your imagination with the insanity of this thing. And then it turned into, what are 5 words that will get you to just click this? No
Yeah.
matter what, no matter how, we just need to use these words and get you to click on something that ultimately you do not need in your life.
Mm-mm. Yeah, not at all.
And sometimes scary. Like it's just outright addictive scary.
Yeah. No, I saw the article that I meant to send you, but then I couldn't find it again, and I saw it on 2 separate social media things, was like, women shocked by like, plus size woman shocked by cutout dress, and it was like, I had to read it because I kept seeing it. I was like, "What is like,
Yeah.
why?" And it was just this lady got a dress from, like, that online fast fashion retailer Shein,
Yeah.
and it looked nice on her, and that was a fucking article. Like, pretty sure there are natural disasters happening across the globe right
Right,
now that, like,
right,
we aren't being shown anywhere, but
right.
this like, that came up 5 times, and I was just like, "What
Well,
is happening?"
and it's such a valid point. I didn't know about Pakistan until yesterday, and
Same.
it had already been going on for days. I didn't know about. Remember when the was it in Brazil? The Amazon was on fire at one point.
Mhm.
I didn't know about that for 2 or 3 days. And but don't get me wrong. Uh, and I will definitely know about a lady and a dress that she fit into
Mhm.
way before I learned about any of these
Yeah.
massive messed up things.
Yeah, I'll learn, like, anything about, like, just like, "Oh, my son got a rash from a henna tattoo at a fair." I'll learn about that, some person in the UK whose kid has a rash. Kids always have rashes.
Right, they're
You know,
children.
I'll learn about that. Anything the Kardashians do, which I
Oh,
don't care. I
facts.
love reality TV. I cannot stand the Kardashians. I'll
I
know about that, but it's just like, "Oh, wait, Mississippi, like, the capital of Mississippi doesn't have drinkable water and
right.
won't for the foreseeable future." Just found that out yesterday, like,
I did
what?
not know that.
Yeah.
That's oh my god. Yeah, I think and it's funny because I had tried to organize a chat maybe a year ago with a bunch of journalists that I knew to discuss headline culture, because I'm sure, like you were saying, headlines have gotten to a point where even reputable businesses, like I would say the trades like Deadline and Entertainment Week or EW or the Hollywood Reporter, because I read a lot of stuff for just pop culture, movie news, and stuff like that because of my other show. And I would say that those headlines have started to get more and more misleading with the
Mhm.
things that they're writing. And sometimes definitely just to get people to either argue over it, but without reading the article, or sometimes just to attract people. And I want to ask you, do you think that this is a product of the elections that they had before and the idea that fake news became more prevalent? So everyone just started doing a version of that? Or were we just always on this road?
I think it's a mix between the 2 because, like, I do remember, like, even in the pre-internet days, because I
Mm.
am old, uh, I remember, like, being at the grocery store with
Oh,
my
yeah.
parents and see, like, Bat Boy all over, like, National Enquirer, but at least that was, like, funny,
Right.
that wasn't,
Yeah.
like and now this stuff, like, there's a lot of, like, fake news, like, that is, like, damaging and
Right.
scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, like, the thing and that's definitely, a reason why we're on the darkest timeline, but I think the thing, like, because that's always been there, like, there's always been misleading and bad
Right.
propaganda.
That's fair.
I think the
Yes.
thing that
Propaganda is a good word. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm, I think the thing that really grinds my gears about, like, this specific type of fake, like, just dumb news and clickbait stuff is that, like, it's just pointless, like, it's not even funny. Like, it's just like, why would anyone read this article? Like, this
Yeah.
is but they still like, it's so the clickbaity headlines are so enticing and, like,
Yeah.
it's like eating candy. Like, sometimes, like, if I start eating candy, like, even if it's, like, a candy that I don't like, if it's there, I'll
Right.
just keep eating it knowing it's bad for me, and I think
Right.
that's maybe it's just my addictive personality and my desire to just be angry at things, but,
My desire to just be angry at things is such a real moment right now. Like, I feel like we're all trying to be like, I've been living a calm, respectable life for so many years, and I just, everyone else gets to be angry. I'm gonna also be angry.
I think that is kind of part of it too, because like, as we've been, like, mentioning, there's so much bad stuff happening in the
Right.
world right now,
Yeah.
and we just lived through a pandemic, that's
Yeah.
still going on,
Yeah.
um, and so I think we kind of have this desire to have kind of bad news, but
Mhm.
I think these clickbaity things, it's like bad news that's, like, manageable, like,
Ooh.
thinking about, like, 33 million people losing their houses, losing their homes in Pakistan, like, that's
Yeah.
too much for our brains to comprehend, but I
Right,
still
right.
wanna feel that, like, "Oh, I'm sad about that," like, or, like,
No,
anger or I don't
that
know,
is
it's weird.
such a fantastic point. The idea that we kind of draw ourselves to these weird stories and these weird headlines that still kind of give us a sense of being annoyed or angry so that it can so that when we it kind of ignore, and I say the royal we because it's not like we're doing it
Mhm.
intentionally, but the royal we of kind of ignoring some of the major things that are happening can still be upset about something, but something manageable and something
Yeah.
like you're saying, it really is just candy that you can't stop eating. And it's true. I find myself because and similarly when I'm on Instagram or because funny enough, the Deadline, which is one of the sites that I would say is like I was saying, I respect their content more. The bottom of their site often has some of the worst versions of those clickbait headlines, and I always think to myself like, why would the respectable site also
Mhm.
have the weird thing at the bottom? I'm trying to find the Deadline one too because I can pull that up. Man, some of these headlines on your Mirror site are wild. I'm just like looking at them like
Yeah, they're all and that's the thing too is because I think that's one thing that's tricky because when I do read, like, the actual news, like, if I check, like, CBC, it
You're
is,
right.
like, at the bottom, maybe not so much on CBC because it's government, but, like, if I check an
Yeah.
actual reputable news source, at the bottom, it is all stuff from sites like The Mirror and sites like, The Sun and all these, like, tabloids, And I think that's super dangerous because it's really easy. Like, you can tell the image quality is less, the fonts are different, but like if you're not like super internet savvy or if you're just clicking away, you could think suddenly like, "Oh, this is an article by CNN," or like the, it's like that's dangerous too because it's
Yeah.
being mixed in.
With the
It's like mixing medicine in so your dog
right.
will eat it, it's like
Yeah.
it's like except it's bad. Like, it's being
The
snuck
amount
in.
the amount of times that on this podcast, The Dumbest Timeline, it's been kind of the analogy has been that we're being treated like dumb animals is so telling about how messed up the world is. But you're not wrong. It really is this like spoonful of sugar. It's just like, here's the stuff that you actually respect. And this
Mhm.
company has now bought ad space on the respectable site, or they've bought ad space through Google, who is the quote unquote respectable company,
Mhm.
and they're working with these sites to give you ads at the bottom. And then the ads are the most ridiculous things you'll ever see. But you're right, the way they kind of fit it into the frame, it tricks you into thinking, yeah, especially on mobile phones, I feel it does it even more
Mhm.
because as you're scrolling, because of the formatting, the story just shows up and you're just like, oh, this is just a continuation of what I was scrolling through.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like, you'll be reading an article about something important, and then it's just like, "What did this crazy MILF in London do?"
Yeah.
Like, it's
Se- 7 stories about the lady from the Octomom or something. You're just
yeah,
like,
oh, Octomom has been popping off in my feed lately.
right?
It's
But
so retro.
it's because and okay, I'm gonna admit it. I also saw the Octomom ads pop up. I unfortunately did click on the
Oh,
ad.
me too, I had to know. I had
It's
forgotten about her, and I had to know. I was like,
the
"How is
kids went
she?"
they're 13, right? That's I
Yeah,
think that's the big deal. Like the kids are all like they're all aged up. They're going to high school
that's
or
crazy.
yeah, that to me is such an example of their system working on us
Mhm.
because genuinely, did you ever think you would care about the Octomom had you not heard about her in the past?
No, no, I don't know. And
Right.
that's the thing, it's like, because 'cause I'd say, like, we're both intelligent
Right.
people,
Right. Yeah.
and, like, I feel like I'm not easily fooled. I'll try to look at things, like, very discerningly, but it's I think it's human nature to wanna know dumb shit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like, and I thought that I had more of a handle on it because, like, look, I will admit, I like some really stupid things. Like, I genuinely love Jersey Shore. I've watched all of Jersey Shore and Jersey Shore Family Reunion and most of the
Oh my god,
spinoffs
love it.
because that's my little, like, vacation, it's my
Yeah.
mind break.
Right.
I've been watching that show for years,
Yeah.
and I know, but then it's like I I feel like I am on my own personal darkest timeline because, like, that little itch that I scratch with Jersey Shore is now, like, on all of my news feeds, and I'm starting to, like, wanna scratch that itch by clicking these
Yeah.
terrible articles, and it's
What are they up to now? What Jay Wow's is that what I feel like
yeah.
didn't one of them have a kid?
Oh, they all have kids,
Oh,
most
they
of
all have
them,
kids now.
except Vinny and Polly don't. I could do a podcast about Jersey Shore. Like, I have a Jersey Shore fridge magnet that my friend got me for my
I love it.
birthday. It's
I love
like
it.
it's bad, but
But that's it. Like, and I think you're also touching on a good point that before the internet, the scratch was given to like scratching that itch was television shows
mm,
that kind of did these reality TV things where it was kind of the not mind numbing, but a little bit mind numbing because
mhm,
you're watching. And I've never really watched Jersey Shore. I've only watched a few episodes. I think I watched the one where Snooki
mhm.
decides to pee outside, uh, is that a common thing?
I
Because you
mean,
made a
that I
face
was
like
like, that could be literally any episode of any season.
you made a face like, "Brian, that happens often? I don't know what
Like,
episode you're talking
you're gonna have to narrow it down a bit, Brian. That is a common occurrence.
But that I think that's even that but that's what makes it even greater. The idea that the one episode I watched was such a telling tale of how the show really it's such a true to the story and it was just an escape. I watched it the one
Mhm.
time with my friend, and thought to myself, I will never regain the half hour I got of what from watching this show. But I also should just be okay with the fact that I was actually entertained, because it was
Yeah.
kind of crazy to watch these characters interact. What the situation? I'm
Mhm.
like, just as we're talking, I'm trying to remember the different people from the show, and yeah, yeah, I think that w- what the thing that they've done the best, and the thing that kind of adds to the dumbest timeline, is we've always had a little bit of propaganda or entertainment
Mhm.
propaganda to distract us from the things that are going on in the world, and the internet has just done that on steroids. And
Mhm.
last week when I spoke to my friend Ari, her and I were talking about the fact that she was talking about TikTok being the thing that kind of proves to her the world is a dumb place. And I like that this one works well with that, because it's the idea that it's not just TikTok, it's the internet, and they've been doing it for a long time.
Mhm.
Do you think it'll get better?
No.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying really hard to be less of a pessimist, but, like,
That pause was so
w
telling. I loved it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to, like, think of a
I
positive way to say no.
I
Absolutely
could
not.
tell from your face, you were kinda like, "No."
'Cause
No, no.
it's because, like, at least, like, when reality TV was, like, our dumb way of turning off our brain,
Right.
at first, it was once a week,
Right.
and, like,
Yes.
so now it's, like, it's just constant, like, we're just constantly being given this, like, hogwash,
Yeah, yeah.
and,
Love
like,
that word.
and it's on our phones, it's on our computers, it's on our TV, it's just it's everywhere now, like,
Yeah,
because technology is everywhere,
yeah.
and technology is only going to become more, like, prevalent in our life. It's like an invasive species,
Yeah.
it's only gonna
Oh,
be
interesting.
more places.
It's like a virus.
Exactly.
Hot damn. The Matrix was right. I did I've never really thought about it that way, but it's true that the technology and the things spreading through technology are kinda like a virus, which is, I mean, hopefully, I agree with you. I'm definitely on the same page that we probably will not see it get better. If anything, it can only get worse. I don't think it'll get have you ever seen the film Idiocracy?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
have.
I know I've brought it up, twice already on the pod, but it feels like one of those things that when I look back at what the movie was trying to tell us and where we are now, granted, obviously, we're not as far along. We don't have buildings, like, zip tied together to keep them standing, obviously.
I mean, not yet.
But yeah,
And
we
also maybe in Florida.
yeah, yeah, that's fair, that's fair. It's true, I can't speak for the whole world, I haven't been everywhere, so maybe there are we're they're tying buildings together. But yeah, I mean, that movie, as entertaining as it was, and if you haven't seen the film, honestly, just for the fun of it, go in thinking that this movie, when it came out, was kind of supposed to be a joke about how lazy we will get, and then start to think about how, unfortunately, slightly lazy we are as a people now, and the decisions that we're making.
Mhm.
Like, when they're watering lawns with, like, Gatorade, and you're like, No one would ever do that." And then you start to hear weird stories of people using, like, specialized mineral water to water lawns. You're like, "Uh,
Yeah.
what?" Yeah.
There's definitely someone on TikTok who's like, "I only feed my spider plants Monster Energy drinks," it's just like it's definitely happening out there.
Oh god. Okay. The whole purpose of this podcast was because my best friend and I regularly talk about the fact that we live in the dumbest timeline, and I was just like, I really need to have an outlet to discuss it, because I need to be able to laugh at it. If I don't
Mhm.
laugh, yeah, because him and I, our catchphrase is, "You gotta laugh," because, and I feel like, yeah, the world is really messy, and it's scary to think like, "Oh god, is this where we are? Is this how people act? Is this how we exchange information? And are we really going to just outright ignore facts so that we can pretend to be happy?" And it's like, yes, we are doing all of those.
Yeah.
even more. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it sad at the end.
Okay.
Um, Dumbest timeline. Are there any other things that you feel attribute to this potentially being the dumbest timeline?
I have to you said that, last week's guest talked about TikTok,
Yeah.
and I have to just there's a specific type of TikTok video where it's, like, a video happening and then somebody just, like, going
Just making
just, like, making faces, like, next to or over the it's like, I don't it's always, like, some, like, you could tell they're sort of like a Midwestern mom usually, but they have, like, 2,000,000 followers, like, their life is just, like, going,
making faces at like like
just like, oh, it's always they make those videos make me furious, like, I don't mind TikTok,
right.
I feel like I haven't messed up my TikTok algorithm completely yet, so there's still hope for me on TikTok, but, yeah, those videos
Yeah.
annoy the living crap out of me.
I have to ask you this because you kind of touched on it just by saying that. Have you ever thought, and I have genuinely thought of this, have you ever thought of just starting a new Instagram to see like maybe I'll just restart because this one, the algorithm's done gone crazy with it. It done gone crazy. It doesn't
Yeah.
show me what I want to see anymore. I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna start fresh. Have you ever had that feeling?
I wish I could,
I know,
it's
right?
just I feel like I mean, my ideal would be to just not be on social media at all, but, like, as a
Yeah.
comedian and also just as a person, like, I
Yeah.
wanna know what somebody who I haven't thought about in 10 years, sometimes I'll just be like, "What is that asshole up to?" And I wanna see, like, I'm curious.
I love that.
Um, and, yeah, and also just, like yeah, I don't know. I think instead of starting anew, I would rather just not have social media in my life, but
Oh, cool.
that's
Okay.
hard. And I think
Of course,
also
of
with
course.
Battle of Wits, I really mess up my own algorithm because, like,
Oh, yeah.
especially I mean, I'm researching weird stuff, and then I have one round on the show called the How Much round, which is like the Price is Right, but, like,
Oh,
with, like,
yeah.
weird stuff that I found for sale on the internet,
Yeah.
and that has made my targeted ads
Oh, that must be so interesting.
interesting.
Oh my god, I'm so yeah, I have seen on your show a few times where I'm just like and I never thought of the idea that when you're doing the research and that's true because you're doing research for it, all the different platforms, like your laptop, your phone, everything must just start
Mhm.
giving you really abstract ads because it's just like, well, she's into this stuff because she keeps looking at it, so let's just keep
Mhm.
feeding it to her.
Yeah.
Funny.
Which in a way, because I've been doing that show for almost 3 years now,
Yeah.
and, so now my targeted ads kind of just, like, feed me stuff to use in that round.
Oh,
It's
that's pretty awesome.
you need this, like, these Crocs that turn into pants or whatever, just, like, weird stuff, and it's
Oh, yeah, there was one I think on the episode I'm on, is it pants that turn into, like, a tent or, like, something you can
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember. I was so excited. Uh, Elspeth, thank you so much. Thank you
Well,
so
thanks
much
for
for taking the
having
time.
me.
No, of course, this is great. I love speaking with you. I think you're hilarious. I honestly, that last show, you and all the stand-ups on your show were fantastic. I know you're also gonna be on a show, Super Mean Girls, which is gonna be coming out on the 7th,
Yes.
September 7th. So, and then you have your weekly show on Tuesdays. And then, oh, also you opened for Andrew that I went to
Yeah.
school with. That's so
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah,
I think
I went to
everyone in
school with him.
Montreal knows him. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
we really
lovely,
do.
lovely guy, very funny.
That was
I,
awesome.
yeah.
I'm sorry that I didn't get to see it, but I look forward to the release so I can buy it and support it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Is there anything you wanna tell the people? Anywhere, all your socials and stuff like that?
Yeah, Elspeth_Wright on Instagram, and I think also on Twitter.
Dope.
It's Elspeth Wright. I'm easy to find. Just spell my first name correctly, and I'm there.
Thanks again, and folks, don't forget you do live in the dumbest timeline, not the darkest one. It happens. We'll figure it out together. That's all, folks. Peace, everybody.